YCMTSU. You can't make this shit up. I'm Kellen Clark, David Washington. We are your political innovators here in Central Florida. Our producer, John D. Maria from 7th Legion Multimedia. And today we are talking about a state law that isn't from our own, but is regardless very concerning. What is it, David?
It is a law establishing, for lack of a better term, a secret police in North Carolina where they will have the authority to do just about anything in regards to state investigations, from investigating alleged election fraud to investigating misconduct by officials, access to emails, documents, without really any due process.
And there's no oversight either. The biggest problem I have with this law is that there is no check on it. It is basically an extension of the government that bypasses most other rules. There is an inherent danger to a branch whose power isn't defined well. You can go to an upper end of them doing all kinds of tasks that they wouldn't normally be tasked to do and taking steps that they probably shouldn't. Not to mention, it's under the control of the government. Do you think that the majority in the government, whatever the majority party is, in this case it's the Republicans, will point the secret police at themselves? I doubt it.
I agree.
I think it's mostly going to be directed at political opponents, and I think the same thing will happen if the Dems take over. The Dems will point it all at the Republicans, and it'll just be a vicious cycle of paranoia.
At least that we forget that government is for the people, by the people, and people are with flaws. And what I fear in this particular law in North Carolina is exactly what you just said. Individuals will be tasked with going after people of the different party or different views without impunity, and see a lot more of the negativity and divisiveness in government and politics.
Exactly. And I think this is largely one of those media plays. I think we set a lot of politicians have set very dangerous precedents recently, by framing their policy around, big social media posts and, pundits and news media above responsible governing. I'm guessing this is mostly so that, a bunch of political pundits and like Fox News and more accurately, One American News can make a huge thing about how the Democrats are going to be held accountable for their crimes against humanity in the state of North Carolina and turning your children gay. It was the Democrats, and and then of course, every time there's going to be an accusation of election fraud by Republicans, it's going to be given the light of day every single time, which, you should give it a light of day if there's something worthwhile. But I think it's going to clog up the already painfully slow election system that we've had recently, that operates at like snail's pace. Right. It's going to throttle it down even more because, we received votes. Gotta check with the police.
And put things into a little bit more context. This is from a Truth Out article in October. It states that over the course of any investigation conducted by the committee, individuals under investigation would be forbidden from speaking publicly about possible misdeeds or overreaches by investigators. And all communications or requests from the committee staff would be confidential. Subjects would also be barred from consulting with legal counsel about their rights, and searches of properties, whether in public or private spaces, could occur without the need for a warrant.
What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Don't tell people about the rights. Have them represent themselves and bar the media from investigating anything that your thing does. What could possibly go wrong with that, David?
The investigators can run amok. They can make accusations without evidence, without facts. But as long as they're in their official capacity as investigators,
yes,
they have the authority to conduct these investigations.
And lawyers and police offices can be fined for fraud. Like this happened to one of Donald Trump's lawyers because they kept filing court documents with leaving the evidence section blank. So they were fined $500,000. This is removing that, the incentives to do right, the punishments for fraud, they're gone, and
Mhm.
it's under I believe it's under the control of the state legislature, or is it the executive? Do you
The
remember?
state
The
legislature.
state legislature.
Mhm.
Who owns the majority in the legislature? The Republicans.
Mhm.
What will the Republicans use? What will the Republicans do? They'll staff it with people sympathetic to their cause. What will people sympathetic to their cause do? Go exclusively after Democrats and turn a blind eye to other things. It's strictly speaking a power play.
And also, this particular law removes any type of transparency. So, as you said before, um, access to the records by the media, for instance, that will be stymied. And when you remove transparency, who knows what happens in the darkness? This is incredibly troubling.
Mhm.
And why are Republicans, conservatives so cruel sometimes? Really, why?
It gets them the best media attention they want. Have you ever if you've ever seen any big conservative political on social media,
Mhm.
every single article or video title is X person on the right destroys the left in one simple sentence. And this is just another one of those. North Carolina destroys the left and will hold them accountable for their crimes,
Right.
whether they committed crimes or not. Doesn't matter. They
No-
committed crimes by being Democrats.
North Carolina Republicans, who hurt you? Really, who hurt you?
The
Th-
Democrats.
this is not freedom.
No.
This is not liberty, which conservatives really pride themselves on. Who hurt you, really, for you to um, establish this bill and attach it to what I remember? I think I remember correctly, the budget bill, and because the governor cannot line item veto specific items in the bill, it passed because
It
the governor
it was
had to let the
classic.
bill
It
pass.
was classic dirty politics. It really
Mhm.
was. And it's going to blow up in the Republicans' face because if you have an organization like this, you get to conduct your own elements of the law. The media can't report on what you do, and you will not be stopped or by the people that you're going after. Who is going to take those positions? Opportunistic people, people who want bribes, people who have personal vendettas, people who just are fanatics, like media fanatics who just want to do anything to give positive reporting or rather negative reporting against the other side. Opportunistic people is all this is going to end up being. This is not some crusade for truth to account for crimes. If anything, it's just going to conceal the crimes.
Right. This is authoritism. Is that a word? Authoritarian.
Authoritarianism,
Yes. Thank you.
authoritarianism,
Authoritarian.
that
This
word.
is at its best.
Yeah. I mean, every dictatorship has one of these organizations. The Chinese Communist Party has one. The Russian Federation has one. Iran has one. It's called the Morality Police. Every dictatorship has this type of organization as their fundamental. You've probably heard the Gestapo before,
Hmm.
that the Nazis used. It's all within the same vein. And I'm not calling every Republican in North Carolina a fascist before you go there, people in the comments. No. What I'm saying is that the framework of there mirrors that form of government.
Right.
And the founding fathers made our government with the idea that everything would have checks and balances. We love our checks and balances. You know, if the judiciary is being irresponsible, you can impeach them. If any government official is being irresponsible, you can impeach him. If the president is being a petty bitch and vetoing stuff for no good reason, you can override a veto. You can vote cloture. Any power has a counter. You know, but this just spits in the face of that founding principle.
Right.
Like puts it, buries it, dances on its grave.
I know we spoke about in previous podcast, here in Florida, Governor DeSantis has his own little army, the Florida State Guard,
Yeah.
and what he says is they're supposed to be there in natural disasters, civil unrest, things like that. I don't recall hearing about his
Combat
little
training.
army, his little
Yeah.
army showing up on the west coast of Florida during the last hurricane. However, what happened in North Carolina takes DeSantis' idea of his little army to a whole different
Oh
level.
no, the state guard is is little peanuts compared to what North Carolina did.
Mhm.
You know, I think the state guard is mostly going to be used as riot police and or replacement for the people that we're sending over to Texas. I think that that's the most likely usage, but it was during hurricane season, so it made the most sense to market it as
Mhm.
a disaster relief, which it could be reasonably used for that as well. But the combat training to me implies that it's riot police more than anything. But that riot police is one thing. Being able to charge people for crimes without evidence is something completely different. Being able
Right.
to investigate people without lawyers. If I'm not mistaken, David, which amendment guarantees you the right to legal counsel again? Was it the Sixth Amendment to the Constitution? Say, no, 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 the Sixth Amendment doesn't count. This is going to be challenged in court and it's going to be struck down. I have zero doubt in my mind because it flat out goes against the Sixth Amendment
Mhm. Mhm.
and the Fourth Amendment too, because of the warrant thing. There is
Right.
the search warrants. It is is one of the more rigid components of the law. There are unless there's obvious evidence there. There's probable cause. You can't get a warrant. You can't search something without a warrant. And now they're saying no, no, the Fourth Amendment doesn't count either. Fourth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, barely nowhere.
Right. Right. I agree with you, Kellen. This is a clarion call to Americans to wise up and educate yourselves. Know what's going on in your local politics as well as your national politics. Google Project 2025. Google this particular new law in North Carolina that establishes their secret police. These things are happening regardless of what is being told to you. There are members of our society who want to take away our freedoms despite saying that they're giving us or allowing us to live out
Yeah.
our freedoms. No, that's not the case. And this is a very good example of it. As my final word, this is a cautionary tale. People need to be aware. The information is out there. It's your willingness to pursue and educating yourself.
I look forward to this law being struck down because I firmly believe it will, because it is, because it basically just says that the Constitution doesn't count anymore. Don't take shit from your own party. Don't take it from the other party either. It's fine to have party preference. It's fine to have, as a general term, party allegiance. It's fine to have those things,
Right.
but you want to hold your people accountable. You don't want your people to get a bad name. You don't want your people to be the ones making mistakes, and don't let them. And write to your Congress people, write to your state legislators, let them know that this upsets you, that this media attention that they're aiming for is going to be outweighed by the negative impression with voters.
Government is for the people and by the people. We are the people. We need to participate.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can also participate in that like button. You can participate in that subscribe button, ring the bell, share with your friends. We're gradually building up this brand and we hope to be here for a long time and
Indeed.
bring the pressing issues to the people where the news media does not.
Indeed.
Have a great day, everybody.
Like, share, please comment. Like Cullen said, we're growing our community. We are your political innovators. Thank you to you. Thank you to our producer, John D. Maria. Thank you to all of our associates. This is a Jay in Washington production. You can't make this shit up.